angels, it's Hailey Reese, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am truly so grateful that you are here, and I do hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it is for you when this video finally reaches you. Today's video is truly brought back by popular demand, and I couldn't be any more excited. Recently, we've been diving into true glitch in the matrix stories, and they have been absolutely bone chilling. Now, today's glitch in the matrix experience is beyond anything that anybody has ever told me. Well, okay, that's reaching, but it is definitely absolutely bone chilling, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. I have really loved diving into glitch in the matrixes, especially diving into glitch in the matrixes seemingly caught on camera. So if you guys would like for that to be an upcoming video, definitely let me know. We are in the middle of 31 days of Halloween here on my channel, which is basically where I am uploading a new video each and every day from now until Halloween. So with that being said, if you do enjoy my content, make sure to let me know what it is that you want to see for the remainder of this month. But beyond that, make sure that you are subscribed down below with your post notifications on to make sure that you never miss a video. If you enjoy them, of course, that is. And with all of that out of the way, let's begin this experience. So this experience begins at the time of Ryan being 23. Now, I said the name Ryan the way that I did because Ryan would like to remain anonymous. Therefore, Ryan is their super cognito name. But at the time of the experience, Ryan was 23, single, and really struggling with his direction in life. Now, a big reason that Ryan was struggling so deeply was due to the loss of his mother when he was just 17 years old. Now, Ryan was extremely close with his mother growing up. He described himself as that of a mama's boy. His mom was his safety, his protector, his absolute everything. And watching her battle a disease as horrific as cancer was single-handedly the most disturbing and difficult thing that Ryan has ever had to endure. And because of this, after losing his mother at just the young age of 17, Ryan became a recluse. He became somebody who didn't want to get close to anybody because life was so limited. To him, we all die. And in his eyes, some of us horrifically and painfully and senselessly as his mother had. And so it all felt like it didn't serve a greater purpose. He felt like the best had happened for him and there was no getting better. And Ryan's lifestyle and way of living really did reflect this. He was partying a lot. He had really meaningless connections with women. He desired to be loved again deep down, but when he would meet these women, anytime they would break down walls or get close, he would shut right down and push them away. And deep down, Ryan did know he was living in a way that his mother would not approve of. You see, Ryan described his mom as unconditional, but a very tough love, put it bluntly, type of woman. He never had to question what it was his mom was thinking. She was always very blunt with him, and he was well aware that his detachment from women, from love, from life, from the human experience was not great for him. He just remembers that prior to his experience, he felt like he was existing and he wasn't living. And though he didn't believe in a higher power or some bigger phenomena, he put it out there one night that he needed something to change. If this life was worth living, he needed some sort of tangible proof in this. A couple of days later, Ryan would get just that, although his answer or his proof that life was worth living and that life was bigger than this was almost too much to handle. Ryan said that he had woken up and it was just a regular day. Despite partying a lot and having no romantic connections, Ryan did have a really great corporate job, and he was climbing the corporate ladder quite well. He had his routine in place and his things that he did and didn't do, and this day was no different. He got up, he took a shower, and he went to brush his teeth. Now that's when Ryan said he noticed the first of strange occurrences this day. He noticed that his toothbrush that had been blue with green design on it was now green with blue design on it. Now, we'd only had this toothbrush for a couple of months, so it's not like this was his lucky toothbrush that he knew every little detail of, but he knew that those colors were opposite when he'd purchased it and when he'd used it every day for the last 90 or whatever days. So immediately his day felt a little bit off, but Ryan continued on. Ryan got up, got dressed, and went to go and make himself a coffee. And that was when he realized the only creamer that he had in his refrigerator was this festive, super sweet creamer that he used to enjoy having at his mom's house. He hadn't had this, let alone purchased it, since his mother had passed all those years prior. So at this point, he starts to feel like he's going wild. His toothbrush seems strange. In his refrigerator, there is a completely different creamer that he wouldn't use, that he hadn't used since his mother had passed. In fact, it went as deep as he wouldn't even look at it in the grocery store. And now all of a sudden, there it is in his refrigerator. So he decides, forget the coffee, I'll get new creamer on the way home. I'm going to go and hit a coffee shop on the way to work, and he did. But that's when things would get even stranger. He was met with a barista who he remembered from high school, one he hadn't seen since he was around 15, 16 years old. And what she would proceed to say to him would throw his entire day upside down. She would tell him that she was excited to see him, that she hadn't seen him in years, and how were things. And then she would proceed to tell him that she had just bumped into his mom last week, and that it was crazy that she was now seeing him, and that she's so glad to see that the whole family is doing well, especially after everything he'd been going through. Now, Ryan took a moment back and didn't say anything to her because he felt like she must have mixed his mom up with someone else. I mean, his mom had passed away. Surely she must have known this, but the two of them weren't that close. So he let it slide, ignored the comment, and continued on, thinking that perhaps word of mouth had traveled, that he just wasn't in the best headspace and wasn't the same type of guy he used to be. But something didn't sit right with him. The whole day felt off, and Ryan started to feel sick. Specifically, his stomach that had been giving him trouble for the months leading up until this moment started to hurt even more. And Ryan decided to call into work sick. Now, when he would call in, the receptionist was a little bit confused, stating that that was perfectly fine, but that he wasn't due back into work for his shift until about 5 o'clock, as he was working the evening shift. Ryan had never worked an evening shift. In fact, there was no evening shift in his position, but at this point, the day felt so strange, and he decided just to go back home and get some rest. Ryan gets back home, kicks off his boots, takes a shower, and decides that his crazy day just needs a nap. And so he climbs into bed to do so when his phone buzzes. Ryan leans over, takes a look at his phone, and sees to his shock that he has a text message from his mother. Now, Ryan's mom's number had never been deleted from his phone, so this wasn't unusual that her contact was in there. But her texting him was absolutely unusual, considering that she was 6 feet under at the time of the text being sent. Ryan then checks the text message, and to his absolute shock, he's met with a conversation that makes absolutely no sense to him. His mother had texted him asking him how his treatment was. Obviously, He's shocked because this makes no sense. Upon checking, it is in fact his mother's phone number. It is in fact his mom's contact. The messages that he'd been sending to her useless phone number now were no longer there, but there was a conversation detailing how grateful she was that he had went and gotten his stomach checked out last year when she'd asked him to. As he went through the text message conversation, he was met with messages detailing his treatments with cancer that had been found seemingly the year before in his stomach. Now, none of this made sense to Ryan. His mother was deceased. His stomach was hurting, but it had only just started, and he had not been to the doctor for it whatsoever because honestly, he didn't care enough to go to the doctor. And now he's in this world reading these messages where he's being told by himself through the messages that he supposedly himself sent his mother that he has been getting treatment for stomach cancer. But what's even weirder is specifically what his mother had had and passed of. Now, Ryan contemplated going back to sleep and taking a nap, but he felt like he needed some sort of answers and decided to call the number for his mother. That was when Ryan would hear his mother's voice answer the phone. They would have a casual couple-minute conversation, and Ryan would hang up the phone. Now, this is something that he regrets to this day because he didn't ask her anything, and he certainly didn't tell her anything was amiss. He was feeling so crazy in his own head. I mean, imagine everything that's been thrown at him from the morning that he just hangs up the phone and takes a nap. When Ryan wakes up, he wakes up in the morning to his alarm. He gets up and takes a shower, and he goes and utilizes his proper toothbrush. He heads to his refrigerator with his proper creamer. He searches for his mom's contact number in his phone, and while it is there, all of the messages are green because they weren't going through, and that conversation that he'd read never existed because his mother was in fact still 6 feet under. So Ryan wakes up and goes about his normal day and gets to work and goes about his normal day at work, but he can't stop thinking about this day that he'd had in his dream the night before. And he starts to think about the barista that he'd seen and the girl that he'd seen from all those years before in high school. And so he decides to search her up and see where she is and what she's been doing because, I mean, the dream felt so real. And that's when Ryan would find the obituary for her. She too had passed away from cancer. So now both people that he'd really associated with the day before in his dream were both crossed on. Ryan's stomach starts to hurt again, and he decides to call and make a doctor's appointment. To which a couple of weeks later, he would find out that he had precancerous cells in his stomach that they were able to remove. Through the things that they were able to do with Ryan's health, his doctor essentially told him that had he have waited another year, the treatment would be that of cancer treatment, and that his chances of survival would be a lot slimmer. Ryan felt like he finally had this new sense of life, but he felt like it wasn't a glitch in the matrix, that perhaps he'd had a dream, a premonition of sorts, telling him everything that would happen. A couple of years later, Ryan would go on to meet what would become his wife, and the two of them immediately had life pushed back into them the moment that they met. It was as if their souls' fire had diminished just for one another to reignite it. When the two of them would celebrate a wedding anniversary and Ryan's mother would come up, his wife would finally have the courage to admit something to him. She would admit that one day she would have a day that felt as though it wasn't a real day. Everything was amiss, everything was strange, and she would meet a woman whom was so sweet to her who would tell her that someday she would meet her son. To which the woman told her that she would do everything she could to make sure that he was safe and healthy by the time they met so they could live a long and healthy life together. The next day she woke up and it seemed like it was all a dream. But when she would finally meet Ryan and see the photos of his family, that face was undeniable. She had met Ryan's mother in a day that never existed for her too. So Ryan's processing all this information. His mother had passed away of cancer, as had the barista who he went to school with. In that timeline and reality, they were alive. and Ryan was the one sick. But that moment and that glitch had led to him finding out that perhaps he would have gotten sick in this timeline if he hadn't went and checked it out. So could it be that Ryan exists in a timeline where his mother and this girl had passed away and he became healthy, but in another timeline they're healthy and Ryan is sick? These are the questions that Ryan has. Basically, to this day, Ryan and his wife can't explain that day or that dream that they had. Could it have been a dream? Absolutely. But now that all of these glitch in the matrix experiences are coming to light, well, they're starting to wonder if perhaps that's what they experienced. And that's why I'm so beyond curious to ask you watching, what do you think happened to Ryan? I'm not even going to say my theories in this video because I want to read through all of your comments and theories down below, and perhaps we'll touch more on this in my next Glitch in the Matrix video. So make sure to let me know down below what you guys think, but truly, this is a Glitch in the Matrix experience that has left me questioning everything. And I knew I had to ask you guys what you thought too. If you guys are new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed but you enjoy my content, I would love it if you would go ahead and click that subscribe button, and please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness, and until next time, I love you. Bye guys.